Tonight, Mayor Pro Tem will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and our invocation will be done by Councilmember Espinoza.
Salute pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lord, for this day that you've given us. Thank you for the opportunity that we have to come before you and do the work of the city. Be with us and give us guidance and wisdom. We ask this through your son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, very good. Moving on for the approval of agenda. Any changes?
No changes, Mayor.
No changes to the agenda. I need a motion and a second for approval, please.
Motion approved.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Olvera, second by Councilmember Espinoza. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Givens.
Yes. Very good. Moving on to our presentation, and David is here. Mr. Franz?
Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council, it's my great pleasure to introduce you, for some of you, once again, to our new Shafter Library and Learning Center manager, Irene Montoya. Irene comes to us with a wealth of experience and connections to the community. She was one of the founding members of the leadership team of the then Grimway Academy, now Grow Academy. Worked with parents in our community since 2016 in that role, and has done an outstanding job there and has already hit the ground running and is doing a great job for us. She's, among other things, she's going to be leading her first staff training this coming Saturday. So looking forward to that. And she's actually going to be a student herself once again, as she's going to be starting an organizational leadership master's degree. And so I'll turn it over to Irene and let her share anything she'd like to, or she can ask any questions.
Yeah, thank you guys for allowing me to speak. It's been almost a month now, that I've been at the Shafter Library and Learning Center. So it's been an experience. I've learned quite a bit. I think the experience that I had at the school was I use a lot of the things I keep telling the staff, like I keep saying, like, we used to do this at the school, but it's not a school. We're gonna do it this way. So it's very I really like it. I really like, seeing, familiar faces with the parents, even parents who no longer are Grow. I see a slew of different people. So it's been very helpful. And the team is so welcoming. And I always tell David, like, all the staff there is just awesome. They're so easy to work with and they have the same goal in mind. So it makes my job a lot easier too. So yeah, so I'm very, very grateful. So.
Different tempo.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was joking with my mom. She told me the first couple of days and I'm like, I can hear my own thoughts. It's great. So yeah, different tempo, but honestly, I like to bounce off ideas with David all the time of things that I want to do. And so we have a lot of things, coming up. So I'm excited.
It allows you to be more creative.
Yeah.
Because you're not, I guess I got to say this politically correct. You're not bound by the limitations of the education code around you. Hey, that was really nicely put, by the way. So it allows you to be more creative with how we can teach and mentor our younger generation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And just incorporate different things too. That's, something that is very well alive in the community is like culture and different things like that. So yeah, I like plugging in different things like that and new experiences and bring, new things to kids. So yeah, absolutely.
Great to have you aboard.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Welcome again.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
All right, very good. That is our single presentation for the evening. We'll move into public comment. Public comment, those persons wishing to speak on any item included on the agenda or on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council are invited to speak at the podium. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Public comment time is open. Nothing online. No one in the audience. Going quiet. Public comment time is closed. Council, announcements from each of you. Councilmember Espinoza, I'll start with you tonight.
Okay, I got a couple of them, so I'll go fast. On the 20th, I attended the Arms Forces Day at the Minterfield. And on the 22nd, I attended an oath of office here for the ceremony for the IT intern Eric Gonzalez and administration Assistant Angel Velasquez. On the 24th, I attended the Public Works Appreciation Luncheon at the Public Works Yard, and that was a nice time. I enjoyed myself there with all the public work employees. On the 27th, I attended the 2023 Annual Memorial Day celebration at the National Cemetery in Arvin, and that was a nice ceremony up there. It was beautiful. On the 29th, I attended the Memorial Day celebration at the City of Shafter Cemetery, and that was also a nice ceremony. I particularly liked one of the guest speakers. He was Lieutenant Colonel, and he flew the F-16s and the 117 fighter jets. So he was awesome to listen to. I really enjoyed that. On the 30th, I attended the oath of office for Caitlin Berman, police officer, I believe. And then on the 30th, I attended the Grow Academy 8th grade class award ceremony at the Tin Cup. And there was a lot of kids that I recognized from playing football, and it was nice to see them getting up there and receiving awards. So that's all I have.
Very good. Councilmember Rivera?
Good afternoon, everybody. On my report, I Thursday, May 18th, participated in the team building meeting. It was a planning meeting for this with the city and the staff. About 5 hours trying to put together our plan moving forward for the next 3 years. That was pretty productive. May 20th through the 23rd, attended ICSC with the mayor, city manager, and Mr. Meadows. And did that. Want to thank Cosmont for their guidance on setting up our appointments with the different businesses that we met throughout those 3 days that were there. It was a very great experience. Got to talk to a lot of different people and different businesses for this economic development goal that we have for our community. Took our flyer that was drafted up with all our facts, the factual information from our city. Presented it to them. A lot of them, were kind of like their eye-opening, looking at it as like, oh man, yeah, this is a city where we want to go to. So I think we planted the seed with a lot of businesses, but I think with a lot of them, we gained some ground where I believe they're looking at us now to establish themselves here. There is work to do. But we'll be moving forward with that, and the mayor will touch a little bit more on details with that. But it was a great experience for us, and I think we need to continue to do that. And I think it'll make our city continue to grow and bring those businesses that we need here. That is my report.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, sir. I did attend the senior awards event for Shafter High in the auditorium, and it was held at 9 o'clock in the morning, which was new this time. And I can say that there was an excellent turnout of parents and supporters of our graduates. It was really nicely done and well attended. Also, there was, of course, the team building that all of us participated in, and I believe it opened up a lot of thoughts and ideas to plan and be ready for our future vision. Also, on the 18th, I attended a COG meeting where we evaluated the manager, and he is still with us, and he's looking forward to retirement in the future. So if you know of anybody that might be interested in a job at COG, he's certainly open to any suggestions. Also heard a survey on a community that's been done every other year for COG, and it is on the website for COG if you're interested in looking it up, because it's interesting to see exactly what their results are showing. Also on the 24th, I was with the mayor and we listened to, and the city manager was on Zoom with Valadale's office in DC, and we had Mr. Parker with us talking about the high-speed rail and the fact that there are no funds being allocated towards this project here in California. Also, we had of course, the Public Works luncheon that was really pretty exciting, as well attended with all of our staff, including others from City Hall. On the 25th, I attended a colors group meeting where they're still talking about forming this organization. They were able to save the incorporation, as well as now trying to make sure that the expired domain is back and should be moving along so that it won't be lost. And by the end of this month, there will be a decision whether they can have enough information and activities in order to put on a colors event again in February. If not, it would go the next year. Also, on the 27th, we did go to the National Cemetery. The ceremony, as Pete says, was outstanding with the speaker. He told some really good stories personally of how he felt because of his flights and then whenever they lost one of their teammates, and it was really very touching. And I know everybody really enjoyed what he had to say and how he shared it. Also, they had the county sheriff department had their helicopter up and flew over and did a salute, which was really outstanding. I sat with them. Yeah, that's right. We sat together and it was really a nice event out there. It was perfect morning to be there. And I was excited that we were present. Also on the 31st, we had a special meeting to make sure that we were still on target with our budget. It was the number 5th session. And so that really concludes my report. Oh, I know in COG, I wanted to also say Shafter and Kern County always has projects ready to go for transportation. And so there's always monies allotted to all the other counties. And when they don't use the funds, we are always ready. Shafter has benefited, but Kern counties have benefited at the highest. Kern County always gets the most money because we have projects ready to go. And I believe that says a lot for our, not just city staffs in the county, but as well as our staff at Kern COG. That really encourages us always, because this last year we got an extra $6 million that others didn't use in their projects. And so it's worthy to announce that because it stands way out above all the other counties in the state. So that's a good report. Thank you.
Very good. It's been busy to say the least.
You know, I didn't say anything about peaks, did I? We did go to the peaks.
No, we did. We
Yeah,
did.
the 17th. That was after, wasn't it? No, our meeting was on the 18th. Yeah, that's right.
It's okay.
Yeah,
The peak award she was talking about for the high school.
all the high schools.
Yeah, all the current high school schools. It's the excellence in athletics and academics. Again, very busy for the last few weeks. I know we also met with Tony from the Fresno COG that Wednesday to follow. I do feel it was a nice meeting to have. I think it was eye-opening for him. Eye-opening for him to look and say, didn't realize how much Shafter had and was capable of, especially when it comes to rail. We've had a lot of conversations with the rail in the last few months, down to the point where even Vince Fong's office has commented to the fact that Long Beach is talking about us, specifically Shafter. BNSF is talking about us, again, specifically Shafter. Now having this meeting with the Fresno COG director and talking about the grant money they have available, we're trying to just align ourselves to be that core city, that business, if you will, that could be the central hub for this inland rail depot. So, you know, it's interesting to note that when the rail was put in, correct me if I'm wrong, 12 years ago,
Oh, at least it could be longer than that.
somewhere in that range, you don't realize what you're putting in until you finally see it come to fruition. And sometimes things take a little longer than you want them to. But in the end, I believe this will be a very viable project, not just for Shafter, but for the Central Valley as a whole. So hoping that works out well to our advantage. There have been a lot of other things going on. I just want to point out a few items to note. So for ICSC, this was a big push this year. It's a conversation that Gabriel and I have had from day one, which is how are we pushing our economic development works, if you will, not just in the city as a whole, but in the core city. What are we doing for our young families? Because Shafter is a very young city. And we've got to ensure, and that's why it's so important, Irene, that you're here too, is we are working diligently to ensure that we have things going for our young families. You know, you guys do these events at the Learning Center. They're incredible. David, you guys have an incredible turnout, and it's families. It's all about the family. It's not that it's one school in particular. It's that the groups of families, they want to come out and they want to celebrate and they want to be a part of those events. How do we amplify that much more? How do we ensure that they have what they need for them to be successful and not have to use their sales tax money in someone else's city? That's the most critical piece here. So ICSC was one avenue that we were able to take. I do not believe that's the only avenue that we're taking, but it is one avenue that we're able to take, converse with the businesses and determine is your business able to be here in Shafter? When you get to talk to folks and they go, Shafter who? And by the end of the conversation, they go, no, we want to be there. We had a lot more conversations turn around from being, how do I say this correctly? We had a lot more conversations turn around from being us trying to plant a seed to them turning around and saying, how do we get into Shafter? Which was really, really promising from our end because I wasn't really expecting that, though I know we are capable of it. And it goes back to a comment. I know you and I have talked about this, and it goes back to a comment of who's telling your story today. And if we as a city are not telling that story, not telling the story of ourselves, then who's telling it for us? And it may not be the way we want it told. So going out there, presenting the data, the Placer AI situation, we'll talk about that later. Having all that at our hands and being able to do what we're doing, I think is telling the story from our perspective, and people are excited. Businesses are excited to hear that story and they want to participate and be a part of Shafter. Shafter's growing. It's inevitable. You cannot stop the change on that. Knowing that, how are we addressing those needs for that community? Not just here in the core on the north side, but also in the southeast side, because Shafter is a very, very large footprint. So this is super important to go through. It's the same scenario going through the goal settings because it isn't just about one item, but it's us globally. How are we setting ourselves up for the next 15 to 20 years? So a lot that's taken place in the last 3-4 weeks. I think very, very critical items. We're still not done. We still have a lot more to go. I see Mr. Esselman nodding his head over there. Because he knows. I think you start to see and feel the excitement in the air, and you realize, okay, how are we going to do this? What do we need to do next? And what does that look like? So again, very, very nice to have those moments, but this just sparks the next one and what that looks like. I think I made mention of it at our special meeting last week. I'll say it again. The next event is October 25th to the 27th. I don't think we've got anything confirmed quite yet, but as a council body, we are wanting everyone to be able to go and participate. So try to at least put a placeholder on your calendar for today so you can at least see what that is. And it is in San Diego. I apologize. The weather is better than Vegas. Let's just say that right now. Because 99 degrees versus 79 degrees is a big difference. So that was October 25th through the 27th. One of the other big pushes that we talked about was our downtown. Again, how do we work towards the family unit? And so this is the first event of its kind that we're trying to do, which is our First Fridays event this coming Friday. If you haven't had a chance, get on social media. Please share all of the banners that you see that are on social media on whatever platform you have, if not all your platforms, and get the word out there. I'm very excited for the entertainment. There's entertainment pretty much on the hour, every hour, from some local groups to Rockamole, who's a kind of the well-rounded group throughout Kern County. They do a lot of work here. From some really cool food vendors and some of them who are not here, who are trying something out for the first time in Chick-fil-A. So we are really excited for the groups that are coming in and what is going to take place. So again, that is this Friday, starts at 4. If you are like, man, I have nothing else to do in my life, I want to go help you guys set up. We can use the help starting at 1. You're looking at me like I'm crazy, but it always is nice to have the help setting up. So if you have a couple free hands and some free time, we'd love to have you guys come out here and help. Again, spread the word. That is this coming Friday. Other than that, happy graduation to everyone who has graduated or is getting ready to graduate. Grow Academy is one of them. We've had a handful of graduations in the city, still one more to go. So almost there. But it's been very good to see these young people moving on either to high school or now into college. So with that being said, that'll close us out for our council announcements and reports, and I will move into our consent calendar. All right, item number 1 on consent calendar, approve the general checks. Number 2 is approving payroll. 3 is approving the overtime report. 4 is approving minutes. 5, adopt resolution 2925, authorizing a financial assistance from the State Water Resource Control Board for the planning, design, and construction of Lannis Camp 4 Water System Consolidation Project. 6, accept the public improvements completed for the 2022 Park Lighting Improvement Project. It looks very nice too, sir. Good job. And authorize the city engineer to file a notice of completion. 7, approve a proposal submitted by Park Consulting Group dated May 5th, 2023 for pre-procurement services associated with a land management system acquisition. Pre-procurement services in the amount not to exceed $40,000. Number 8, accept the public park improvements for Farm Park located within track 7332, phase 2, and authorize city engineer to file a notice of completion. 9, accept the dedication of easement for street and public utility purposes for Shafter Avenue from Big Stop Market. 10, approve grant deed with reservation of easement for real property located near the northwest corner of Shafter Avenue and Beth Eden Avenue. 11, approve construction plans and specifications for ST 00032, 7th Standard Number 2 Lane reconstruction, and authorize the release of said project for formal bid. 12, adopt resolution 2926, adopting a list of projects for fiscal year 2023 to 2024, funded by Senate Bill 1, which is the Road Repair and Accountability Act. Number 13, declare the list of vehicles attached as surplus property and authorize the sale of said items through a public sale or auction. 14, approve a license agreement with Richland School for temporary access to Veterans Park. Last but not least, number 15, ratify a service agreement with Placer AI in the amount not to exceed $19,000 for analytical information. Questions, comments, concerns? Otherwise, I will look for a motion of approval.
I move we approve.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by, nothing's working for me here. I have a motion by Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem Prout, second by Councilmember Olvera. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Prout,
Yes.
Olvera.
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Givens.
Yes. Very good. With that being said, we'll move into public hearings. Public hearing item number 1 is the introduction for first reading by title only and waive reading of ordinance number 746, approving specific plan amendment number 2206, the Orchard Park specified plan. Sir?
Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council, public hearing items 1 through 3 in your agenda cover specific plan developments in the city of Shafter. All 3 presentations will be made by Planning Director Steve Esselman.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and Council, our first item for tonight is in the public hearing section is a specific plan amendment number 22-06 related to the Orchard Park specific plan. As you can see, this is the site of the entirety of the Orchard Park specific plan, which is just east of Shafter High. There is a marked up version of the specific plan with proposed changes in your packet, which is in yellow highlights. I'm going to give you the highlights of those changes. Essentially, the applicant, LGI Homes of California, wishes to revise the maximum floor areas of proposed homes in rear yard setbacks based on lot size. They want to limit homes of less than 1,800 square feet to a maximum mix of 33% for homes that are built on 8,500 square foot lots. They want to limit homes less than 2,000 square feet to a maximum total mix of 33% for homes to be built on 9,500 square foot lots. They also would like to limit homes less than 2,000 to less than 2,200 square feet for a maximum mix of 60% of all homes that are to be built on lots that are at least 10,800 square foot lots. They would also like to place a required retention basin in a new locations within the specific plan area. This is essentially because in the original specific plan, the retention basin was on the eastern side of the specific plan area. Currently, only the western portion is being considered for development, and therefore to retain on-site flow, stormwater flows, a retention basin was necessary to be built also on the western portion of the specific plan area. LGI would like to revise the architectural designs within the specific plan for proposed housing to be more in line with the products that they build. rather than the products that were considered by a previous property owner. And finally, they want to remove the plant palette that was an Appendix A in the specific plan because it was a plant palette that was from about 10 to 15 years ago when we were not considering drought tolerant plants as heavily as we are currently. It gives them more flexibility in designing their landscape plans when we just remove the plant palette altogether. Just to let you know, the planning does review landscaping plans to make sure that the plants are drought tolerant and meet state and local guidance, laws, and ordinances. With that, the staff's recommendation is to conduct a hearing and then to introduce for first reading by title only and waive reading of ordinance number 746, an ordinance approving specific plan amendment number 22-06 related to the Orchard Park specific plan. And with that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you. Thank you.
Very good. This is a public hearing. I will now open this for public hearing. Anyone care to address for public hearing? And I know our developer here, you and I had a good chance to talk earlier. So if you'd like to say anything, by all means, please do.
Honorable Mayor, members of City Council, I'm Adrian Peters. I'm with LGI Homes. I'm happy to be here this evening. We purchased this property about a year or so ago, and we've got a great chance to familiarize ourselves with the neighborhood, with staff. And I'd like to first just offer my sincere thanks to Mr. James and Steve and Mitzi and Suzanne before she left is also of great help to us, and Kevin Harmon and the rest of the team have been wonderful. We really appreciate their help. I don't have a presentation to give. I'm here mostly to answer questions, but we're really excited about this piece of property. When we drove out there for the first time, we visited the neighborhood just to the west of us, and I believe that's where you, Councilman Prout, live. It's a really nice neighborhood, and we said this is a great neighborhood for us to be in. We've had 3 communities in the city of Bakersfield, and our company is very much committed to Kern County. And they were looking for us to expand into another town that we think would really be a great fit for the homes that we build and the people that we serve, the communities that we serve. So we're very happy to be here this evening and to tell you a little bit about our project. There's the changes, as Steve mentioned. We think they're important changes. We think they're beneficial changes. We think that it allows us much better flexibility to build the programs, the product types that we like. It addresses a water quality issue that needed to be refined through engineering methods. It gives us much more flexibility on the landscape palette to design something that fits better with the drought tolerant themes I think are responsible for today. On the product side, we intend to build high quality homes. We're very proud. We have very similar to Lennar, we have an all-in type of product that we deliver where everything is offered. There's no options. Everything is provided at the highest scale that we can offer to the buyer. Solar standard, for example, everything is of the best quality we can give. And so we believe that we have a great product to offer this community. And with that, I'm available to answer any questions anybody might have. But again, thank you for your time this evening, and I look forward to an affirmative vote. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, by all means.
I have a question, Mr. Pierce. You said you have some developments in Bakersfield?
Yes.
Where is one of them?
The City in the Hills neighborhood, if you know where that is,
Out
we built Juliana's Garden, and we are currently working on Morningstar Ranch, which is about a half mile to the west of that at the corner of basically the 178 and Morning Drive. We have 139 lots there. We've sold about half of them already. And we are under construction on a project at Gosford and McCutcheon in the southwest portion of Bakersfield called Harvest Grove. And that's 351 lots. So that's our 3rd project, and this will be our 4th one in Kern County.
Good, thank you.
There's a rendering shown in the agenda. It's, for us, it would be page 264 of the agenda. I think it's figure 14. Is that the idea of the renderings that are in discussion? The only reason I ask is I know you were talking about a landscape palette adjustment and I see the grass there, which I like grass. But if you're asking for a drought tolerance, more than likely Mr. Esselman's going to say no grass, which then I would have to have a fight with him and say yes grass. I like grass. However, is that the rendering we're talking about today? I think figure 14 architectural styles is what it says on the bottom right hand side.
I think I can address that. It's actually, that is just to show you what the type of home would look like.
Okay.
The grass, the wonderful lush lawn in the front,
Mhm.
that's probably better suited somewhere in the East Coast, is not necessarily a part of that. There's certainly going to be limitations on total ground cover, in compliance with law, local ordinance and state law. I would, there are also the mature trees behind it. Just look at the homes themselves. That's what they're trying to show, is what kind of product that they're bringing to the community. And the landscaping will be more in line with what works here in Kern County.
With some form of grass.
So how much is allowed for open space in the front?
In terms of setbacks,
Well, would it allow that much size in lawn, or is it just larger flower beds and less frontage? Open
Well,
space?
yeah, that's a great question. We are proposing a minimum of 20 feet in the front yard.
Mhm.
And typically we have some undulation in the front elevations that allow some homes to be a little further setback than others. That was one of the reasons why we are requesting the 15-foot rear yards, is to allow a little bit more flexibility on how the plots are actually laid out on each lot. And Steve, that's a great point. The product that we're building, if you were to say, go to Morningstar Ranch and check it out, does have a predominantly drought tolerant front yard landscape treatment, because we're very sensitive about that. But
The house itself is very nice, by the way. Again, I don't know if that's where your final rendering is going to be, but the house itself is very nice. So you've done a nice job on what that's going to look like.
And we just want to make sure we have good neighbors. That's the only thing. But, there's no guarantee on that. I understand that, but, I'm used to, because where I live, we're used to having a lot of open space. And so you'd like to just have some good neighbors, but good neighbors throughout the community is what's important. So
absolutely,
that's
we
what we want to see
agree.
happen.
We agree 100%.
Because the houses don't have to be large. I don't believe houses have to be estate size. If you just have good neighbors, that's the key.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We would,
Pretty hard to dictate, but I know.
yeah.
Any other questions? All right, very good. I'm going to go ahead and
Thank you.
close the public comment. Comment is time. One moment.
I don't know that you could say that, but I have no financial gain on it. Okay, that's fine.
Do we know what businesses are?
No. When I talked to Steve today, he seemed to think that it was okay. It's okay. Yeah. Well, he said 1,000 feet, so.
Need a recess for 5 minutes? Okay, very good. Before we move into the approval of this, I need to take a 5-minute recess. Need to make a motion for recess? Okay, let's take a 5-minute recess. Okay, we are back from a quick recess. Our city council had a quick need to recess. I'm going to leave this to you.
So Mayor,
President.
what we did is we checked the distance from the project from Councilmember Prout's residence and learned that it looks like it is within 500 feet of the boundaries of these specific plan changes. And so because of that, under the conflict of interest rules of the state of California, it is presumed that she has a conflict of interest. Whether or not she does or not is a different story, but it's presumed that she does. And so for that reason, I've advised Councilmember Prout that she could not participate in this decision. And so she has left the dais and is not going to be participating in your deliberations or taking action on the matter. I should note that because we have an ordinance in front of you, an ordinance requires 3 votes. So in order for this to pass, it needs the affirmative vote of all 3 of you.
No pressure. Very good. Very good. Okay, so again, I apologize for the delay in that. Council, any other questions? I know we've closed the public comment time. Any other questions for this? Okay, very good. With that being said, I am looking for a motion in a second for approval.
A motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Olvera, second by Councilmember Espinoza. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Givens.
Yes. Okay, now is this the only one of that scenario?
The others are Gossamer Grove and Marcona Preserve in the southeast portion. So unless you're in the
Yes, please.
Gossamer Grove's specific plan area as your residence, that's
Thank
been a
you.
concern.
Thank you. Write this in real quick. Okay, moving on to public hearing item number 2, introduction for first reading by title only and waive reading of ordinance number 747, approving specific plan amendment number 23-07 for the Gossamer Grove specific plan PA2 and PA3. Mr. Esselman.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. This next item is a specific plan amendment number 23-07 related to Gossamer Grove specific plan, specifically planning areas 2 and 3 of the Gossamer Grove specific plan. Can you click forward? It's not working. So this is how the Gossamer Grove specific plan looks currently within or the overall land use plan within the current Gossamer Grove specific plan area. And we'll get to what the changes will be, but I wanted to give you a sense of what it looks like currently in the plan itself. So Lennar Homes of California is requesting this specific plan amendment to revise a minor revision to the Gossamer Grove specific plan, essentially to relocate estate residential units from planning area 2 to planning area 3, so that planning area 2 will go from 166 estate units to 76 units, and PA3 will go from 0 estate units to 90 units. They also want to relocate low-density residential units from planning area 3 to 2, so that planning area 3 will go from 1,320 low-density residential units to 1,161 units, and PA or planning area 2 from 1,201 low-density residential units to 1,360 units. They would also like to change the minimum interior lot width for a minimum 5,000 square foot lot within planning areas 2, 3, and 5 from 50 feet to 45 feet. This allows them to, during this reconfiguration, to fit those additional lots within the areas that they're requesting. I would also like to note that the lots within the designated area with the lot widths of 45 feet will all comply with the 5,000 square foot standard, and the larger square footage lots would not apply to this 45-foot standard. It's only for 5,000 square foot lots or less would have a 45-foot minimum lot width rather than 50. I also want to note that with all of all this changing around, and let me show you the next slide. With all the changing around, and this is how they're changing that land use plan. There is no increase in the total number of lots that will be developed as a result of these changes to the specific plan. It will still remain 3,400 and a little hard to read, 432 total lots, as was previously approved for the specific plan area. With that, staff recommends that you conduct hearing and then introduce for first reading by title only and waive reading of ordinance number 747, an ordinance approving specific plan amendment number 23-07, the Gossamer Grove specific plan for planning areas 2 and 3. And with that, I'm happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Very good. Thank you. With that, we are opening up item number 2 to public comments. All right, seeing as we have no public comment on this, I will close public comment. Council, any questions, comments, concerns? Otherwise, I will look for a motion for approval in a second, please. Microphone, will you turn it back on?
I'm approved.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Prout and a second by Councilmember Espinoza. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Givens.
Yes. Very good. Moving on to public hearing, item number 3, to introduce for the first reading by title only and waive reading of ordinance number 748, approving zone change number 2371, Marcona Preserve Specific Plan Drilling Island. Mr. Ressman.
Yes, honorable mayor and council. This is another specific plan item. We're doing around the world with specific plans in the city of Shafter. And so let's start with, there we go. So just to give you a sense, this is the current drill island in the Marcona Preserve specific plan area. It is the specific plan area that is west of Gossamer Grove. Just to give you a sense, what this really amounts to is a cleanup. You can see sort of the box that kind of goes into 7th standard and is sort of wider than the other gray box. That is currently what the zoning for the drill island is for the drill island in Marcona Preserve. What the applicant would like, which is Lennar Homes, would like to make that zoning constrained to the other gray box that is underneath. That is the proper zoning drill island, and that's where the zoning should be located. Currently, it is officially located in that larger box, which means that if homes were to be developed, some of these backyards would actually technically be a drill island. And so this is a cleanup exercise for the maps so that we have the zoning properly constrained within that parcel that is designated for drill island. And we'll give you a couple more examples here. So what you can see here is what they're trying to ask for is that they want to change the area that is to the west there that says that's currently zoned drill island to specific plan zoning. And then to the north of the existing drill island, they want to change that which is currently specific plan to drill island so that it fits properly the parcel in question. Again, simply a cleanup exercise is what we're doing here so that we put the zoning in the proper location because it wasn't properly located previously. So this is essentially a cleanup. So with that, staff recommends that you conduct hearing and then introduce for first reading by title only and waive reading of ordinance number 748, an ordinance approving zone change number 23-71 for the Marcona Preserve specific plan, specifically the drill island that is within that specific plan area. With that, I can entertain any questions you may have.
Very good. This is a public hearing. I am now opening item number 3 up for public hearing. Okay, seeing as we have no comments, going to go ahead and close public hearing. Council, questions, comments, concerns? Otherwise, looking for motion in a second.
So it's just it's going back to where it should have been to start with.
Correct. It's a cleanup action, just so that at some point, let's say someone, wants to drill and say, hey, by the way, we actually technically are allowed to drill in that person's backyard. And so, now what do you do? So what we're doing is cleaning it up so that the drill island is constrained to where it should have been all along.
Okay, I'll make a motion to pass.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Espinoza, a second by Councilmember Olvera. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Givens.
Yes, very good. That clears us from the public hearings for the evening. Moving into management report, we have one item on management report, which is the City Hall roof tile replacement purchase. My apologies. Mr. James.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, members of the Shaft City Council, there is an approved budget of $250,000 for completing improvements at City Hall. It's anticipated a majority of those funds will ultimately be needed to reconstruct the roof and replace the roof tiles and shingles here at City Hall. We've all seen that the roof obviously leaks. It's caused flooding and damage on the inside of the building. And the problem is progressively getting worse. So last year, the city hired a consultant to prepare an assessment of the roof and recommend improvements. So since then, staff has been utilizing that input to ultimately have the roof fixed this calendar year. So the management report tonight recommends ratifying a past staff award to a supplier for purchasing the specified roof tile. Over the past several weeks, we've been in contact with the tile manufacturer as well as some multiple suppliers to track product availability and costs. And the issues we've been seeing are that the lead time for obtaining the tile is at least 3 months, excuse me. And there's very volatile pricing. It changes like stocks. It changes every day. So the supplier that submitted the more favorable pricing, ABC Supply Company, shared a potential benefit or opportunity to get added to an existing order that was made by another customer, so we could cut that lead time significantly and ultimately get our project built faster. So, but at the same time, the supplier strongly suggested issuing a purchase order ahead of tonight's meeting to take advantage of that opportunity. So late last week, staff started the process of awarding a purchase order. It's valued at $30,000. It includes Spanish tile to match the look of the current City Hall, as well as specialty tiles for the ridge and the edges, as well as hardware and contingencies, just to make sure we have enough. What it doesn't include is the areas that we assume will be laid with shingles for AC units, and then in the alley side of the building, we're ultimately planning solar panels. So we didn't really want to invest in tiles and ultimately remove them later. So this purchase amount, $30,000, does require council approval. But due to the timing sensitivity and urgency of the order that I covered earlier, we're requesting ratification for staff previously approving that order. And then looking ahead, assuming we can get that tile later this summer, we'll immediately prior to that, we'll bid the installation work and come back to you with an award for that, or recommendation for that. So with that, I can respond to any questions or suggestions.
And hopefully not be flooded this winter.
That's the idea.
Council, any questions, comments, concerns? All right, hearing none, looking for a motion and a second, please. Have a motion?
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Prout and a second by Councilmember Espinoza. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Givens.
Yes. Sorry, I was writing this down. Very good. Moving on to our city manager comments and reports. Mr. James.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, members of the Shaft City Council, there's a few items I'd like to cover serving as acting city manager this week. As the mayor mentioned previously, the first of the first Fridays will occur this Friday downtown. There's a special council meeting scheduled for next week, June 14th at 4 p.m. The following week, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving Recognition Awards will occur at June 22nd at 11 a.m. at the Bakersfield Marriott at the Convention Center. And I believe Mayor Givens, Mayor Pro Tem Prout, and Councilmember Espinoza are going to accompany the chief for that event. And then finally, I wanted to mention to the council that at your June 20th meeting, that we'll likely have an agenda item to cancel the July 4th meeting in anticipation of the upcoming holiday. And with that, that concludes city manager comments unless you have any questions or suggestions for me.
Do we have an update on the pool?
You'll have a presentation, your June 20th meeting. We'll
Yep.
walk you through where we're at and where we hope to be.
And then was informed earlier by one of the businesses, do we have a water leak issue?
In front of the Sonic?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I think mid-morning today, we were made aware, public works crews were already, fixing a leak and it impacted, Sonic and a few businesses fronting Central Valley Highway, and we made contact with them. And I think the shutdown was less than an hour or two.
I was told it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Absolutely.
Any questions? Okay. No, that's it for us.
Okay, well, moving on to department director comments. In your agenda, we have a planned update from the chief regarding recruitment efforts at the police department.
Did you say helicopter? Honorable Mayor, members of the council, it's no secret, we've talked about it quite a bit, the need to be able to attract solid employees at the police department, at both the police officer and support ranks. I wanted to give you a little update on where we're at with it, but I can tell you that it's my opinion that the more brains handling this, the better. So we've created a recruitment team that is a combination of both sworn and non-sworn to be able to put our minds together and try to figure out how to best attract this generation of crime fighters. So we've got about a team of 8 or 9 of us that mostly them, not me, come together. I can tell you that we've been working very closely with both HR in order to streamline the application process itself and the recruiting process. We're having monthly tests. So we're going to have an ongoing list for future academies. There's an academy upcoming in August. So we're busily trying to prepare for that eventuality. We have 4 that are entering the background process for the August academy. And we have 1 lateral candidate that we hope to put into backgrounds this week. We're also obviously working closely with Rachel, the communications manager, in order to best come up with a plan to hit all of the social media sites, et cetera. And we're also creating a monthly Zoom session for people that may be interested and just want some questions answered. And we've done that about 4 times. We've also attended the Bakersfield City College or Bakersfield College recruiting. I'm not going to call it a seminar, but it was a gathering. The Shafter Job Festival and just this weekend we were at Pismo Beach when they had their big car show and we talked to about 558 people. So really the trick there is to get police officers and anybody that may be interested in this profession in front of those officers so that they can answer questions. So that is what we're doing. I will say that we've talked about the other end, the often unspoken portion of recruitment is retention. I can tell you that just to give you a little glimpse of what we're dealing with, sometimes it seems like we're swearing in a new police officer every other week. The truth is, it's very difficult to get somebody through the process, including the academy, selection, academy, background, field training. It's a very difficult, long process. And just to give you a snapshot, just since 2021, that's just a couple of years, we've had 15 people leave, police officers, not support staff, police officers leave and either go work elsewhere. A couple have retired and some just didn't make it through training. So that is why you see the large turnover. It's because it's a process. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
You're wearing us down on that helicopter.
You gotta be kidding. Don't build his hopes.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. You're gonna fly
you
him
like
in?
the
You're gonna
pilot?
fly him in, huh? Oh, Lord. Mr. James, anything else?
Nothing else, no other director comments, other than, City Manager Gonzalez is recovering, and I believe you'll, see him virtually, next week.
Yes, sir. Okay, very good. With nothing else said, looking for a motion to dismiss.
I'll motion we dismiss.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Rivera, second by Councilmember Espinoza. All those in favor with aye.
Aye.
Same sign as opposed. Hearing none, we are dismissed at 6:00.